is now 5:35. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you please be seated? Angie, will you please call roll?
Yes, ma'am. Amber Avia Hinojosa.
Here.
Rosa Maria Diana.
Here.
Esther Pirova. Absent. Jessica Ontiveros.
Present.
Silvia Palombo.
Present.
Maxine Robles.
Present.
Diana Rodriguez.
She's
Absent. Maria Yvette Romero. Absent. Martha Wright Martinez. Absent. Silvia Bruni.
Present.
Maria Angelita Reyes. Here. Priscilla Pantoja. Absent. Guadalupe Ramirez.
Here.
We have a call.
Very well.
Are there any citizens' comments before we get started?
None have come in.
I'll give you a minute to check the minutes from the March 14th meeting. Everybody was just walked in, and I'll take a motion from the floor whenever you have a chance to review.
I so move that the minutes for March 14th be approved.
Second.
And Rosa Maria second. Okay, I'll move to the next items for discussion. The state of the women outreach survey. Do we have an update?
Yes, I don't know why I presumed there was going to be a computer, so. That's okay, I'm sorry, it was my bad, no, it wasn't yours. So I'm just gonna let you know, the survey has turned into a project. The survey is just going to be part of the project that measures in some level, the gender inequality of women in Laredo. And so we are going to cover health and related services, and that is going to include, do women have affordable access to healthcare? Is going to cover reproductive health, is going to cover reproductive education or knowledge, all right? Some questions are of course in the survey, and some of the data is going to be directly provided to us by the health department. And other is going to be investigated via distance of clinics, depending on where you live, stuff like that, okay? The other section we're covering is economic, labor, and well-being, and that has to do with economic knowledge. How many women are owners of a home, how many have a checking account, how many have debts more than what they earn, how many women, in order to measure, okay? Some of those also include survey questions, and some of that is going to be data that we extract from the census and from the labor statistics. We're also going to look at employment level, types of employment that women have in Laredo, and level of employment women have in Laredo. Via service, management, executive, et cetera. Okay. We're also looking at schooling and education. We are going to look at what type of training the LISD professors and the UISD professors have on diversity and gender. We are going to look at the rates of development and efficiency testing, depending on gender, to see if they actually are the same as the national data. Maybe we are doing something good and we are just not aware of it, right? So we are looking at that. We are also looking at the schools from pre-K all the way to higher education close to Laredo, having to do with policies of sexual harassment, anonymous systems, and how do they respond to these things as well. Then the next one is gender-based violence and security. And of course, we're gonna be looking at gender-based violence, and we are going to look at the numbers of homicides, but we are also going to look at reports that do not become cases. Because the statistics of anecdotal conversations with women, it's really bad. I myself have my daughter who has experienced violence in her relationship, a neighbor who has experienced violence in her relationship, and a niece. I mean, that's crazy statistics. That's, I know 3 people that have experienced that. And so we're gonna look at different levels.
If I may add that,
Yeah.
Antonita, I know that you mentioned three individuals that are in your life that have gone through that. Unfortunately, a lot of times, a lot of women do not report, and I'm sure it's sad, but I mean that's one of the facts that a lot of times because they're afraid, because of what are they gonna say, you know how, I mean, our culture.
Right.
What are they gonna say? And a lot of people go unknown because of the statistics. So the survey is gonna serve a good purpose, but we need to take in account of all those women that do not report because of either love or they're afraid because they're either maybe they've in one way or the other, they're
They may feel threatened.
they're threatened more than anything, or they say, well, if you do this, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna kill your family, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, that's why we are also including not only statistics of actual measurements that the police and the federal government do.
Because that I mean, because they have it on record, but I mean, we need to also look into the points
Exactly.
of all those women
That do not report, or actually cases that do not get,
to where
do
they're
not get
supposed
to the,
to.
exactly.
Are you finished with all your,
No,
you still have more, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead
I'm
and.
sorry, that I cursed it, but
That's fine, that's fine.
like,
I'm letting you know that this is why one survey wasn't enough of a
yes,
tool,
definitely.
okay? In each of these sections, we are looking at different data that can help us get a more holistic picture of what gender inequality may look like in Laredo.
Mhm.
Okay, we're also looking at governance and public life. And beyond statistics having to do with voting, we want to look at who runs for office, who actually wins office, how long do they stay. We want to look at appointees in committees according to gender. And we may actually even include a survey to the city council members on why they appoint the people they appoint. And so to give us an insight if they have gender bias, okay? And then we're also looking at buildings. The buildings have public areas, and we are talking about public areas. Do they all provide changing tables? Is Laredo thinking about providing breast pumping areas? Okay, and that will also create a measurement or an index according to inequality. So far, I have Dr. Wang. She's a mathematician in TAMIU. She's gonna take care of the analysis of the data. Dr. Kilburn, he's going to help with the designing of the survey and surveys, because we're creating a survey for women, but we're also creating surveys for all the public organizations. So all the public organizations are going to be asked, do you have a sexual harassment policy? How many women work for you? What are their rankings and their pay? All of the public organizations under the city of Laredo. So we also have that survey. And then we're gonna deal with census data, and of course with labor statistics and with health department statistics. So we're looking at a lot of data. We also have Ms. Mary Welsh, who is going to help us with the gender-based violence.
Miss, you mean Rosemary?
Rosemary Welch.
Sister Rosemary. very
Sister
good.
Rosemary.
Sister
I'm
Rosemary.
sorry.
Well, that's okay, she's a wonderful resource.
Yeah.
Yes.
She has agreed to help in that area, and we have Ms. Baeza, who is going to help with the health area. So if you have anyone, and I'm looking for people that know how to do research, okay? I don't need politicians, I need I need people that will use their talent to help me with this much information, collection, and analysis. Is going to be a collaborative effort, and so that's what we're looking at. Right now, we have started the design of the survey. We are hoping to finish before the next meeting. So I will send the survey out, not for voting, but for you to give your input in the questions in case you have recommendations, for you to look at it. So when we get to the next meeting, we can vote on it.
Antonia, that's wonderful. But a question, who's going to receive it? What kind of a spread? Who's going to be your base, how
We are aiming, of course, at creating a report for the whole city, but we are aiming at presenting it to the city council with solutions on how to address some of it.
But my question is what women will be surveyed?
Oh, any women.
But how do you approach that?
We are going to do it through SurveyMonkey,
Okay.
okay? And that's where all of your help is going to come in, to be able to disseminate the survey to as many people as we can with
Okay, it's a fabulous resource, but what about the woman who doesn't have access to survey?
Oh, we're also gonna have printing.
Because
We're
there's going
gonna
to
be visiting areas that may
Okay,
not,
very good. Because there's going to be an awful lot of women that are probably the most in need, who probably don't have
The
access to
neighborhood,
survey.
Exactly.
the neighborhood,
So
Wonderful.
we're trying to take all these things into account, but if you guys have more input, I will gladly, you send me an email, I just thought of this.
Maria Antonieta,
Mándeme.
I want to really also tell that it's wonderful. You're doing it all by yourself? Are you doing it all by yourself right
It's
now?
just in the planning,
Well,
yes, but
well.
it's just in the planning stage.
And it's
Once
well
it
thought
starts
of.
becoming- yeah.
You're including so many things that are vital to our community and that are important to us. That's what in the gender inequality. And yes, of course later, so these people, Dr. Wong, Dr. Kilburn is going to help you put it together even better, or what is?
Yes,
what
it's
is he
because
doing?
the surveys, we have agreed to make them a two variable measurement.
Okay.
So it will be easier to extract percentages.
Mhm.
And so the surveys for the organizations and the surveys for women have to be worded correctly.
Yes. that's-
So they cannot be biased. And we're also planning on having, tell me your story if you wanna tell me your story.
That's wonderful.
So it can have actual.
Like a-
speakers.
So I have Lupita has a question, and then if I may ask her.
No, I noticed that it is a very broad, we're asking a lot of things. What is our goal?
Our
What do we
goal
wanna
is to-
accomplish?
Our goal is to have a clear understanding of where the commission can act.
And what are we
remember-
gonna do? Yes.
Remember, we're an advisory committee. We're supposed to be telling the city council, this is what you're supposed to be doing for women. But we discover that we ourselves don't know, right? I mean, we may know women that tell us stories, but they don't come here, they don't voice them. So through the research, maybe we can kind of collect those voices that are not
For-
speaking up,
For the councils to act,
to act against those inequalities.
But
okay,
Yes.
so how do we suggest that they
It's gonna
resolve
be
those
based,
issues?
it's gonna be based on the findings.
Yes.
It'll be
Because we
based on
don't
the
know.
findings, Lupita.
Yes.
Yeah.
the
so
presentation.
what comparison, if you're gonna go make a point, and let's say you,
Yeah.
whatever. Obviously, I would recommend we have a comparison to
Oh, definitely,
another
great
city.
point.
Yes.
We are
City.
including men in the survey,
Okay.
okay? We are including men
Okay.
to be, because otherwise, you're right, we wouldn't. And also, maybe we will receive an insight on the LGBTQ community that the state of Texas is very much, suppressing right now.
Yes.
And would
But
we-
that will provide the comparison.
That would be great,
Yeah, that's
but
great.
also, I think to have more of a, to make a more solid point, would be to say, in comparison to, if it would benefit us, to other cities with the same population, if you will, and,
Okay,
and
I can-
I think that would be
We
maybe.
can definitely do that, because the first step I took was I went online and I tried to look for cities that have done the same thing we were wanting to do.
Okay.
And there's very few commissions that do that, okay? But I found one, and that's where I copied the indexes they used. Because I thought it was very complete, and so maybe we can compare it to that city.
And what
Where did
city
you
was
find
that?
that one?
It
In Texas
It
or?
was in Utah.
No.
Okay, well, but that show makes a point,
Exactly.
that this is not paid attention to,
Oh,
that it's
yeah.
minimized, that it's put aside.
No, I did see other surveys, but they are not as complete as that one. Once I encountered that one, it became my focus, so then I went and looked at the indexes they used to see if they were actually credible. I did a whole, analysis of that example itself. So,
I commend you because it is very broad. You are covering statistics, employment, education, gender-based violence, office, employment, public places
Yes.
where women can breastfeed their baby. I mean, it's very, very thorough. I mean, I'm in awe of this survey. I
It's not-
really
it's
am.
not funny.
It's just
It's
amazing,
And
yes.
also maybe, when you were mentioning, not to say that we're not gonna help out, but, a lot of times, people, not only women, but, men that might be working on their PH, at the university that they're doing, but usually they do surveys, and they wanna have the public, information about, stuff like this, that, that's what they do their thesis on, to get their PH. And, maybe, I know that the people that are helping you to do the surveys and, get data and all that, I'm sure that, at the university, like, when you got your PhD, all of that, can help you, and I'm sure that you're coming from that aspect where.
all I can tell you is this, is that I sought help. I approached the city manager's office and they flat out told me they have no resources for us. I approached faculty in TAMU and only 2 responded.
Lupita.
Kilburn is one.
Yes.
That's it?
Okay, and I'm talking about I approach faculty that's supposed to be teaching on gender issues, okay? Now, my next step is to approach students, because then students can,
Oh, yes.
take over. But I also told Dr. Kilburn, I'm going outside the city when it comes to faculty members, so I'm also gonna invite people from outside. Because, okay, you guys, no one cares about us, alright? That should give you like a sense of what huge responsibility you have in your shoulders when it comes to voicing the needs of women in Laredo. Because I can tell you with experience, very few people can. But it matters, so at least there's a few people and we can get together and create.
I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
incredibly successful, and it's gonna turn a lot of heads. And I think I commend you. I can't stop telling you
Thank you.
how wonderful I think
I
this
just
is.
hope it comes out the way I'm imagining it.
Well, and we can, later on, continue and see how we're gonna process it. I'm thinking even going to the mall, going to a lot of places, for people that don't have computers or can't do the Survey Monkey. There's lots of things that we can do, but of course, we'll do later.
The next time.
This, and with your help with Kilburn and yes, and you can get, this is wonderful.
And obviously, when you get the results, we have to go with the solution option.
Of course,
Yeah, we cannot go into
Right.
it.
Right.
Because, find a solution,
Yes.
but I like to help.
Yes, I think we should all, this is a very, very worthwhile purpose for all of us.
later you can write a book.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We're already collecting
In a
stories.
book.
Yes.
Yo digo que sí.
Yeah, thank you. I want to commend you for your work so far and all the work that you're about to put in, because I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm excited to get it rolling and start distributing whenever you have it ready.
Yes.
So no pressure or anything, but now I have some ideas on
But Antonio is saying that by the time before the next meeting, we
Yes.
probably, so perhaps at that time, next meeting, we can begin to talk about how we can help,
Yeah.
specifically how we can help.
Maybe have an outline and,
Yes.
Yeah, I will try to email it to you before the meeting so you can look at it and get
Yes.
feedback, so we can vote on it.
That'd be great.
May I ask, and I know you are a doctor, what is your PhD in?
It's in public administration and public policy.
And well,
Yeah.
you do have statistics
But you
and
make a good.
Yeah.
and you make a good,
Yeah.
good survey.
I've, for example, surveyed the police department and the fire department.
Oh,
I've
perfect.
surveyed them twice from different angles. So for example, I can tell you that the top 2 issues for the police department, the 2 times I've surveyed them, were drugs, of course, and domestic violence.
Mhm.
And they just switch priorities, but they're the 2
The
top
two
issues.
in Laredo.
Yeah, in Laredo. So,
So it's
yeah.
it's incredible, and I commend you for what you're doing, because, yeah, it'll open eyes, and I think this is a very worthwhile, activity for us, and I commend Amber, because you're the one that's read it, right, so we
It
should
was
do.
all Dr. Reyes over here,
Oh.
challenging us.
Challenging.
And I guess herself too, because
We're
she
gonna
has to
do it.
put it
We're gonna
together.
Yes, yes, it's just,
Yes, yes,
I'm
no.
amazed, and I'm like very grateful that
Yes.
we're doing this. We should be doing this as a commission, you know, yeah.
You know, I'm sure that the city council will be pretty amazed as to.
Hopefully they
Yes,
will.
when we proposed it at council,
They were
council was
amazed.
amazed and
Yes.
looking
Like,
forward
wow.
to it, because normally they hire
People to do
firms
it.
to do surveys, and, I mean, for us to
Yeah.
kind of bring it up on our own, in our own way, for these is something different.
And just so you know, the city manager said we don't have resources for you. Well, we have the library, of course.
Yeah.
And you're
Yes.
welcome to set up shop here, I
Yes,
know we
yes.
welcome you for the whole
But
day.
they said they
Yes.
fully support it, so
And
I'm
you can
gonna,
also-
I'm gonna cash that in when I say pass this on to the organization.
And you can post it on the city's website, I've seen other surveys and the other departments can post it on their websites too, like the health department ourselves too.
To kind of like contribute to the.
Yeah.
And then people
Yes.
can go in, those that have,
Right, and this way, we're very happy we're with you, because you can help us a lot.
You know,
And
and a
they
lot
do
of-
so much. The library, you know, I'm always commending you.
I think,
And I know that a lot of times, like, let's say at the district, you know, I worked for 40 years with LISD, and, you know, we always were working on surveys and stuff like that, and, I'm sure that you're gonna be including both districts, and, you know, like, it's a survey that it's going to be channeled to, was the whole city, you know, so that way it'll channel down to, you know,
Yes.
going, and you get a better picture of everything, so.
Mhm.
It is an outstanding, nice, you know. and
Well,
it-
then, in the survey, are you gonna be asking married, single, divorced?
Yes,
Because one of the biggest challenges that men say is you're the second paycheck, and we're the primary paycheck. So I'm just curious, because women do have an argument.
Yeah.
Many that are single, they're the
Single
primary
moms.
income
Many.
source.
but I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys were present when the Bloomberg scholar came and gave the presentation.
Listen,
Okay, he gave a fantastic presentation, and he actually said that one of the most areas of need that the city needed to address were single mothers. Yeah, and they lack opportunity, transportation. He brought all these up and he presented it through research, and nothing has been done.
how long ago was that?
2018, 2018 or
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
2018 or 2019?
19, I think about a year ago.
Okay.
Pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic.
So pre or
It was
pre-proposed.
pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic.
Okay, it was,
Yeah, it was, you're right, it's 2018.
we could guide ourselves by
Yeah,
that,
that's
like,
so
okay,
funny,
nothing happened,
yeah.
but then,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we're getting there.
And so because of that, we did include measures to kind
Do
of.
we need
support
action
that
on this?
position.
I don't think we need any action on it, it was just kind of like a discussion and
Oh, okay.
update. So we
Sure.
can go ahead and move, if y'all are okay with that, to the next item on the agenda, the Women's Health Month. Yes.
What month is
So May is Women's Health Month, and we presented that in our action plan. I spoke to Erica, I think Erica Hernandez at the City Health Department, and she is ready to do whatever we wanna do. During International Women's Day, they actually did like a women's health fair in March, but they're ready to do one again. And what they did was, they did vaccine clinic, blood and glucose, checking, they did a Zumba, and other things, like all in one day. And I believe it was at the health department, and so we can do that again. We just need to designate a day if we wanna do that, or if you guys have any ideas of what you wanna do in May, so that we can kind of, plan for that, because, I mean, I've been talking to her, but I need to give her kind of an idea from the commission on what exactly what we wanna do, and see when everyone's available to kick things off.
If it were a health fair, would it have to be at the health department?
It would so that's one of the questions, is, does it have to be at the health fair? And if it doesn't have to be at the health fair, where?
No, I mean at the
where-
health
Or
department.
health department, yeah.
Because
If it-
that's not the most accessible.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
the one
not
that's-
the most accessible, but I can ask her if we have an alternative, like, where would you like to see a women's health fair at, if we can move those resources for the day?
You know, we have, when we do open enrollment for the city, there's a meeting room somewhere around here. And everyone sets up there, they all set up, and we're like 20 or 30, if I'm not mistaken.
Can you date if you.
That,
Here in the library.
yes, that would be
Here in the
inside,
library.
and that would be an option.
We've
Okay.
also, when we had our book fair, we've also set up in the lobby, if we have an overflow of
Yeah.
vendors or
That's a good idea.
services that are being
Yes.
I
offered.
would like to have it here. Yes, it's part of it.
Because of the parking,
we can
it's good
recommend
parking.
that.
We
Okay.
can recommend that to
Well,
the.
here
Yeah,
and
I-
also.
I can
Indoor.
recommend it,
Could you also include dietitians, because a lot of people eat the wrong food and they get reactions and on and on and on, and a dietitian, I think, would be healthy.
yeah, that does sound like a good idea. I know that HEB is now offering free
Yes.
dietitian
Oh, there
services,
you
so
go.
maybe we can contact
Yes.
them as well. And I know we have some connections with like Gateway Health, and that would be good too.
I think they find diabetes on you and they send you to that.
But I
It's like
Could it be a collaboration between and among different organizations, so we could bring in
Yes,
HEB?
we have like
It-
the Imaginarium
Okay.
and, the
so it
dental
can be,
places.
it can be whatever we want it to be, because we've never done it before. So if we wanna have a big health fair here, invite the city health department, but also invite other organizations to come here, we can do that as well, because we've never done anything before.
Well,
So
there's
whatever
been,
we want it
not
to be.
women, but I know that we used to, who was that, Sylvia, we used to do the ones for for the students. And it was in May for like band members, football players, that they needed to have a physical and all that, we would provide when we had the actual, when we used to do the fundraisers. It would be in May for the students that needed to have a physical for the incoming year, for either football or any sports or band or any extracurricular activities.
Gateway Community, Border Region,
Mhm,
would
Border
we have
Region.
mental health?
Yes, we can get Border Region.
Can we decide on a date and then we
Yeah,
can start reaching out?
let's decide on a date, that would be wonderful. I'm looking at my calendar, I don't know if, I know some of us work, and then also, what day does school get out?
May
The
25th?
May
It
25th.
has to be in May, but not after that's the month of the women's health.
It's the 27th, well, for the kids, I think it's the 26th or 27th.
She said it's the 25th.
Yeah, for LASC, and then the teachers get out the 30th.
Do we have graduations around that time?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
some
I would say
Saturdays.
before graduation and all that craziness.
I would say like in the middle of May,
Okay.
May, maybe.
maybe the third week
Mhm.
Right after Mother's Day.
What day?
after Mother's Day, yeah.
You have, voting, are we voting now?
Yeah.
But that's the
16
first
to the
week.
20th.
Yeah, we also have early voting.
It's the third.
16 to the 20th.
Is there any voting that happens here?
Not in this, another library is, but not
They
this
put
one.
up one of the places to vote here, but I.
We've had it before.
That
I would prefer the second week of May, right after Mother's Day, before the last week of early voting, and before all of the graduation.
Throw out a date.
So I would say either the 10th, 11th, or 12th. You think it's too soon?
Yes.
It's too soon.
Después if you wait until the 25th, I mean, it's gonna be too late because it's gonna be graduations at the end of the year.
When do graduations start?
Late May.
Do they start at the end of May?
Well, the thing is that.
So the 25th would be good, a day after
Worried about early
election.
Well, we just, I'm not worried about it.
Oh, yeah.
Amber, the 25th, the day after election and before graduations?
School gets out on the 25th.
Okay.
That's the last day
I
of
think
school.
we need to avoid that week.
So
The 25th?
Not for high school, for high school.
maybe the 24th.
That's election
Oh,
day.
that's election day, sorry.
We have to
The
do
23rd.
The 23rd?
On a Monday,
Monday?
Monday and the day.
no.
It's
I
gonna
would
be
say like
during
in
the
middle of
day,
weekend or
correct?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
We just have to.
From 8 to
But
5?
they're getting out, that
And we use your building.
kids are getting out there.
Yeah,
It's
and-
free
and
on
so
Monday,
like-
Monday,
So we have a
that's a
16th
better
on
option
the
than
week?
waiting until the.
The week of the 16th is open.
I would say maybe
Pero
the middle of the week is
the
good.
18th or the 19th?
I mean, it's up to you guys.
What days do you all prefer, right?
That's giving
I would say like in the
everybody a
middle of the week,
month,
on a Wednesday.
a month to plan
I'm gonna be out that whole week, so.
it. I think I am too.
Then we can't do it.
But I mean, the show can go on. I can still organize it. The show can go on. I would say that maybe if we want to have it later in May, maybe the 25th, 26th, or
But they're
Yeah.
saying that schools,
School lets out,
elementaries
yeah.
are in, that means an awful lot of mamas are gonna be very tied up.
yeah.
Yeah, graduations and parties.
The week before?
From the 9th to the 13th? May 11th?
The week of the 16th?
Very busy.
Is the week of the 16th not good?
But that's when she's not gonna be
I'm
here.
not gonna be here, but the show can go on. I mean,
She's not gonna be here this week.
The previous week, I have open that Monday,
we have a meeting that Monday.
Yeah, we should pass that.
and on the 13th.
It's open the 9th or the 13th?
Mm-hmm.
On a Friday?
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
When are you leaving?
The 14th.
So,
I mean, that's fine. I can do the 13th.
the 13th, on a Friday?
This one would be during the day.
We would have exactly 1 month.
And it would be an all-day affair?
I think an all-day affair would be fine. And it would give me more time to send out a
Notices and stuff.
media
Yeah.
notice and.
I would say maybe
coordinate.
from 9 to 2 or.
And we're gonna be looking at health services that primarily serve women.
Women.
Mhm.
Okay.
Border Region, Gateway, dietitians.
I'll talk to Border Region and Gateway.
Okay. Okay.
Would that include like, I know that maybe they could get a slip for like free mammograms because a lot of women don't go through.
I'll ask the health department what they have about mammograms.
They do have a mobile unit now,
Yeah.
so I don't know if they could provide
That'd
that.
be perfect for,
Yeah, to bring
And it
that
would
day,
probably be
For the
that day, yes.
I don't know, but they can offer other services from that.
Before school starts.
Yeah.
I mean, and
What times would be okay?
What
with
would be a
the
good time?
We open on Friday from 9 to 5, so
So we have to be,
9 to
Yeah.
3,
9 to 3 would be good
Yes.
for me.
because then the mothers go pick up their kids.
The babies.
Yes.
or 9 to 2. And wrap up, because I mean, if we wrap up at 3, that means that they're gonna leave at 4.
Yeah.
So because if they go pick up the babies,
that's true.
9 to 2.
We can work on that.
like
Yeah,
a
we
little
can
goodie
work
bag.
on that.
Have goodie bags
From
and
the
refreshments,
paper
see we can get sponsors to help us with it.
Just leave their comments.
Yes.
Mhm.
So the 13th?
9 to 3.
Also, yeah, perfect.
9 to 3?
9 to 3. Let's just do 9 to 3, and then if people trickle out, then we have time to
from 9 to 3.
clear.
So it's gonna make the 13th.
And we can do
April
shifts,
13th,
or, I mean, I hope everyone could be here, but if not, we can do shifts.
May 13th.
And that way we might have the survey. We have the survey on the,
Survey to be able to
and
hand
then
out.
on the 9th when we meet, we can say we need to have shifts or whatever, and we'll have another meeting to be able to plan any last minute details.
Yeah.
But maybe we could, have a sign in, well, that's what we should do at school, you know, like, from so-and-so, I mean, like, hopefully we could be here the whole day if possible, but if not, I guess I can make it from 9 to 10 or 9 to 12 or.
Assignments for us.
Assignments.
Yeah.
And that way it'll be covered throughout, and whoever is steering, to make sure that, that there's always somebody available.
Somebody available, yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect, so
That's a good idea.
Friday, May 13th, from 9, I'm just gonna keep it 9 to 3, and then hopefully we'll have everything wrapped up by
Can
then.
I ask who's gonna chair it? Is there gonna be a chair for this?
I would love to
Because
have
someone
I
needs-
would love to have a chair for
Yeah,
this. I would love a
Don't
chair.
look at me, no.
It's
I want you to be down.
Since you mentioned it.
But no, but I think somebody should chair it and everybody
I think
participate, but I think that there should be a chair. I'd like to suggest that.
I love your suggestion, but whoever wants to volunteer.
Who's not here now?
All the time. Okay, ni modo. You're a volunteer.
I can certainly help.
Yeah, I can help. It's just getting the people together.
Yeah, I think we can all co-chair, basically.
Co-chair.
Yeah.
And we can co-chair.
Yeah.
Okay,
Whatever you need done.
perfect. Sounds great. Okay.
Let's look at Jovita.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the Jovita Hidalgo statue. Betty Flores first reached out to Sylvia to get in contact with me. I talked to Betty, and she also reached out to Maria, right, for the Jovita Hidalgo statue. Somebody approached Betty and said that they had this artist that has this statue for Jovita Hidalgo. And she was looking for the right group to take it to city council. And so she asked if we would be willing to take this project to city council.
Since she
Since she kind of wants to pass it along, like she doesn't want to have to, do it herself. She thinks that a commission like the Laredo Commission for Women should take on this project to council. And so she said that she initially thought that this statue would be $80,000. But the artist said that she will give it to us for $40,000, and she's an artist from Colorado. Now I let her know that the commission has no money.
Yeah.
We only have our funds for Hall of Fame every 2 years, but city council does have discretionary funds for art. And so I think in our last
Yes.
meeting,
I can speak to that. It's a 2% of certain CIP projects. This year is $300,000. The council has not yet decided how to divide it. The last time we got those funds, the council divided evenly among themselves. And we are still working with a consultant who did the master plan, and she's gonna be surveying the city council to see how they wanna split the money. It might be that some of it is split among themselves, the rest is spent on a major project that is for the good of all the city. The other ones are smaller projects.
I have a question.
And when will we find out what that study is going to recommend or what that?
I don't believe she started the survey yet, but she wants to survey each of the city council members to see what they would prefer. If they want, the whole share to go into their district, or split some of it, and, like maybe 20,000 per district, and then leave another portion of
For a
it
major project.
for a major.
How much was it altogether?
300.
300,000.
And she has a suggestion, she suggested that when she presented the master plan, but we still haven't gotten feedback if they want to. And some of them still have funds from the last time, they haven't expended them, so.
And how long, what's the timeline for that, or is that a rollover?
It's a rollover.
It carries
It's a
over,
rollover.
okay.
Yes, and when you say they divided evenly among all the districts,
That was the last time
The last
that they, set up this fund.
because I'm thinking, where is the of Jovita that park? What district is that? Is that just
Five. And that's all gone from last time.
But you know what, just so you'll know, at the luncheon that we had 2 council members that came up with that idea. And they were ready to do it, so we know that we have 2 council members. We're not gonna mention any names, I don't wanna put anybody on the spot, but, it would be, it's a start.
yes, I think that Hall of Fame was a good opportunity to highlight Jovita's
Yes.
story
Yes.
and how she's an important figure in our city, and I think that definitely we gave them a good show so that we can present this and somebody's gonna wanna do it, if not everyone. And it's-
After the commission, that Tricia Cortez, some others, were talking to Dr. Gonzalez, Gabriela, about the idea, I'm sure some of you were there, of building the next high school, naming it after Jovita Ibarra. Because they didn't realize what a great woman she was and how is not well known. Thank you for the park, that we do have a park, but she should have a high school. And some of them were very excited, and I don't remember who else. You were there, you and Sylvia, who else was there, Sylvia? But it was Tricia, you, Dr. Gonzalez, myself, and somebody else. But, yes,
It's the Bartlett Park.
yes,
Where's the bar?
Yes.
Okay.
yes, it was,
So-
yeah, Bartlett
The big
and,
one that has a pool.
yes.
On Bartlett.
yes.
So I think this is a good opportunity for us to kind of reach out to our council members. We already know who saw the presentation and say, we as a commission have been approached to take this to council and we wanna know whose support we're gonna have and does one city council member wanna put the item on their agenda and in their budget? Or is it something that is big enough that we can divide it among council members? Cause I mean, 40,000 is nothing compared to the 300,000 and so.
Well, we have an airport statue that is beautiful and that costs way over.
Yes.
How much did it cost?
Those of us who council members were not there. Is there something
But it's
that we could
bronze.
get by email
Because
that
it's
we
bronze.
could share with all of
Because
us?
it's
Yes.
bronze.
Yes,
Yes.
I can send out what, I've received so far from Betty. She sent me, a little bit about, the statue and about the artist as well.
You know, what the material, what would be the material?
The materials.
If we could speak one at a time, because I mean, we're all speaking at the same time and we
I'm
can't.
asking a question,
We
would
can
you
do the
know?
hand raising like we
Yes,
used to
right.
do.
I'm asking the question, do you know the material that it was going to be? For $40,000, we need to know what kind of material. Is it going to be bronze? Is it going to be iron? Is it going to be?
I don't have the
You know,
specifics
the
on the
specifics, we
material.
need to know.
But there's examples of the work in that, the
Yes.
website that she sent to us.
This is just a person.
Bronze.
Yes. So the first step was to bring it to the commission. I intended to put it on it was on the agenda for the last meeting, but we had to table it because we had so many things we needed to address for Hall of Fame. So step one was to present it, to see if you wanted to take this project on. And then second, we'll work on the details. I still haven't even contacted the artist myself, but I have her contact information. I just wanna make sure that this is something that we wanna work on and push for.
So, go ahead.
May I make a recommendation also, because you know how we are here, we go local, and we do we still not have, Armando Hinojosa, to give us a quote?
He's still working on the Tomas Sanchez.
He's busy,
No,
so he'll decline it. No?
But, I think the master art, plan also calls for calling for artists. So I mean, she could certainly be one that submitted her.
Submit.
That's a good idea, because I think we should give other people a chance. I mean, it's so beautiful, but I think some of our local artists could do that. And,
That's on me.
yes,
The name of the artist is Jane D-E and then Decker, D-E Decker.
Can you spell it?
D-E, it's gonna be D-E-D-E-C-E-C-K-E-R, sorry. D-E-D-E,
Decker?
Decker,
D-E-C-K-E-R.
yes.
And where is she from?
She's from Colorado.
We should have local.
Well, on her wiki it says
think so.
Iowa, but Betty told me it was Colorado.
And how does she, how did Ms. Flores know this lady?
Somebody connected her to Betty and Betty,
Flores?
yes. And she contacted us after International Women's Day.
I like the idea of presenting Jovita, but I love the idea of presenting it to some of the local artists. So everybody can have
It's
a,
like a
yes,
Yeah,
Yes,
I
it's a
think it
bid.
still has to be a bid.
It would be a request for.
yes. say,
The proposal.
Call to
our
artists.
proposal, yeah, call to local artists.
Okay.
Or even
Oh,
Texas, you know.
Yeah, you can,
You know,
first
even
local, then
a
Texas.
local
No,
or
de Texas.
close by or whatever, you know, yes.
Okay,
Sí, pero
so
publicidad
perfect, we
definitely.
will agree to take on this project and
Yes.
hopefully we will open up for proposals. We'll talk to our council members to see, if you can, talk to your council members to see if it's gonna be one council person or the whole council as a whole. And then we can open up, I guess, bidding for proposals on.
When would we wait on sharing information with them on this particular sculpture if we're going to possibly look at opening it up? Because originally I was asking if we could get information on her, but if we're going to open it up to others and we don't show them this,
I think I'm indifferent because I think the artist is
Just
the
the
one
idea.
reaching out and because she has this or something. So I think we should start and say, hey, we've been approached, we've already know that she's an important figure that we do need to have, and so we would like to make this happen. Here is the artist, but we are open.
and will you
to
send
opening
us
it.
something
Yes,
by
I will.
email so that we can share?
Amber.
Where is this statue gonna be placed?
Well, that's the other thing that we need to
We have to-
decide
that was my question.
with council, so like,
Is
let's
that in
say.
that part?
Sí,
Yeah,
Sí.
so what if like, so Ruben Gutierrez was at our
sí.
he was at International Women's Day, he was at Hall of Fame, and he says, you know what, I want it in Jovita Idad Park. I will commit the 40,000, then, you know, then we have that commitment.
That would probably.
Sí.
But this is not Jovita, right? The
Sí,
artist
sí,
doesn't
yes.
have the statue already.
No,
No.
it's
No,
only
no,
12,
I'm a
12 inches.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
Scotty.
Amber, but,
This is 12 inches.
sí.
12 inches.
Amber, but
And they
there's-
usually do this before they.
Yes, for the
Do
festival.
the-
But we also have the Laredo Commission for Arts
Yes,
that are, and then
también.
you're also
Eso está-
in
eso
charge of
está-
the Laredo Commission for Arts, right?
The
It's, you're
culture,
under, yeah, the
arts and
culture, arts and culture. And we also have the Laredo, what is it, the one that had the exhibition on Friday.
cultural.
No, the cultural district, we have the Laredo Commission for Arts, cultural district, and then Center for the Arts. So those three arts that are also and they also get money, I think, they get also, some of them. The Laredo Center for the Arts, yes, from the motel.
The point
Yes,
is
okay.
that
Well,
we
yeah.
were approached
For the rent.
for us to lead on this, and so yes, there's other organizations, but we've been like specifically asked to take the lead because we are a commission of women.
Well, yes, but they could help us.
Yes, they can help
They
us.
can
They
help
can
us
help get
and
the
get in
word
the
out and
bandwagon
get involved for arts.
and-
Absolutely.
And get in the bandwagon to do it. Also, there's Elisa Cigarroando, Maxine and I represented this council, that has the arts, something arts. Cultivarte, sí. So, and she wants it in the downtown area, I think.
I just don't think that we should skip or ignore our local talent.
I agree, I agree.
I think that's why we're going to recommend that it be, that there be a request for proposals from local.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just wanna make mention, if any of you remember, we were gonna put all the names of the Hall of Famers at that house on Chihuahua. Remember, whoever was here,
Sí,
Diana, you
yes.
remember, right?
Cuando
We have
estaba
everything, lo que iban a poner, and then they put a halt to it because the commission, the art was the one, because
It is
Viviana was gonna let us, you know.
Actually, we would have gone direct, we would
Yeah.
have gotten it accomplished. So if it's our project, we need to go direct.
Yeah.
I think we just need to just go direct and do what we're planning to do
Yeah.
and let it happen instead of, you know,
Actually,
branching
all
out.
the commission, the men that were in the Hall of Fame, that have been named, you know, very important ones. They're locals too, you know, and of course, we need to have them somewhere where people can go in and look.
Yes, I
I
agree.
mean, it's the hidden treasure, we don't have enough, and we almost did it at that house.
Because we were
That's
stopped,
where is that
we were stopped, Viviana was, her speaking that actual idea, because they were gonna put it on, supposedly on that house.
In the Consejo.
Canseco Home.
The Canseco home, and they were gonna, they had all this, since she's
What happened?
an architect. You know, she wanted to do all this, you know, she wanted it with pictures, and then she said, well, just with plaques, or just with names, but then said, no, it was pictures within that year. You know, because sometimes it's been 4, it's been 3, it's been 12, it's been 10, it's been 6, you know, like the picture of that year, I mean,
Yes. So I think that that's like another item for discussion on another day, because I've never even heard about that, and that
Well,
is outside of what I know from the commission so far.
And
I believe you.
The Commission for Arts again got in the way because they said that's our project, not yours, in other words. Because they're for the arts. Y estaba ya casi todo hecho. Porque Viviana ya te iba a ponerlos todos, iba a ser muy bonito.
it was.
And I think we do need to display those women that have been honored, you know, I mean.
So we can talk about that. another
Yeah, we
project.
No, no,
Yeah,
and I know that, I'm just
emphasis.
gonna, let's just make an emphasis on it, because I know we have let it go for a long time. And we're all working on this other one, but this one is también grande for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, you got
Amber, Commission, the actual, was plaque presentation that we honored this year, at the Commission Hall of Fame. The Jovita statue, for y'all, for some of you that might have not known, you know, they had approved to go ahead and go with the project. And apparently they had mentioned that that they were not including Jovitas, right? Because we didn't have enough money because of the budget, you know, we're just like to the penny. So I said, you know, when they said go ahead and go for it, and, you know, I spoke to the person that did it, you know, he eventually started with that one, and I said, well, I'm, you know, okay, my, you know, like, if anything, if I have to pay for it, because I didn't, I mean, we just gave him the names, and unfortunately, he started with that one, and then they said, no, pues, we're not gonna pay for that one. He goes, I'm gonna pay for it. For some of you that might have not known that were there at the Hall of Fame inductees, I did pay for it, and I know that it was submitted with my own check. And Mr. Gonzalez have already mentioned that he has been paid. I know that it took a little while because of all the paperwork that needed to be filled out, and everything needed to go on. And he called me, I was busy, but, you know, he called me, and I returned the call after, you know, he called me through WhatsApp and phone to thank me for the service that he did. I mean, I want you all to know that this is a work that he did, and he gave me a prize, because, I mean, the work that he does is like double or triple what he charged us. And because he knows me, you know, he says, well, it's something that it's something to be proud of, you know, of women that have been outstanding in the city of Laredo. So for the people that do not know, I paid for it, and I had mentioned that that I had wanted to
I'm sorry.
to actually maybe place her recognition here at the public library.
Hello.
And when I spoke, Mr. Martinez was speaking to me, and he loved the idea about the awards that we did. He said, no, don't worry about it. I mean, I think there's enough monies, because the budget went a little over because of the numbers of the people that were attending the reception. And he says, give it to me, and he mentioned that he wanted to put it at the city, on the bookcases, or display cases by the entrance of the city hall. And so for those people that might have not known, I mean, and I mentioned to Amber when she said, no, well, we don't have enough money for this lady. I said, well, then to begin with, why are we honoring her? If she was a trailblazer for Laredo. I said, because I feel real bad because I'm here, and he started with hers. So I said, hey, I'm not gonna look bad, so I'll pay it for out of my own pocket. So Mr. Martinez said, no, don't worry, it'll be reimbursed. And I thank Amber for doing that. And I gave the award to Mr. Martinez, and he said, I don't know if you've already done it or not.
I'm not sure.
But I had mentioned, was it anything, you know, the public library, because it's something where everybody comes, the students, parents, and the whole city of Laredo attends or comes to the public library. It'll be somebody that is, somebody that actually, she'll be recognized there. But he did mention that he wanted to put it there at the city.
Does
And-
they have cases and?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's cased in the
Because I think
city.
they cleared up or something. So maybe in the near future with the ladies that might be coming up in the future, they said that they wanted to do something like a tradition, something like
Yeah,
that.
we'll work
That-
on a
that they'll work
section.
with the people that have already passed and that have made a big difference in the city of Laredo, where in that section, maybe they'll be recognized.
Moving forward.
I mean, with that. But I mean, just so people might know that, might have not known that happened, so I'm making it aware,
And
that-
Diana, have you been reimbursed?
Yes, today.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was it?
I have to apologize, I have no idea what any of this is about.
She's talking about the plaque for Jovita.
Oh,
Okay.
I missed
The
it.
wrong, or was,
Yeah, the name is still.
That there was not enough money to
Okay.
pay for Jovitas.
But it's already paid.
Yes.
yeah, everything's taken care of.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
already taken care of.
But just to know, because some people, might have not known that,
Would it have been
Con
part of the
permiso,
committee?
ladies, I don't mean to bother you, but I
oh, I mean, you're talking about Jovita.
No, okay.
No, we're not, I mean, we're talking about the
The
Jovita
statute.
statute period, and we can open up to
But this
committee
is
of
committee.
This is committee report.
committee report.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I mean, it's just because we're talking about.
Yeah, I
Motion
mean,
for adjourn,
Yeah, can we?
motion to adjourn?
yes, does
What about the committee reports?
Oh,
Oh,
We haven't even gotten to the committee.
So we do have an item for committee reports, but I did not receive any committee
No
reports
reports.
unless anybody wants to add anything.
I wanna add something, I'm
You were
sorry.
first.
I would like to invite each one of you to take into account the political aspect of our job. And we are trying to be nonpartisan, open to representing all women of Laredo. And in that aspect, we need to consider who we invite to our events, okay? When I showed up to the Women's Hall of Fame and I saw Mr. Tellez there, I don't know who invited Mr. Tellez, but, and I'm not sure if I am speaking to the right audience either. Mr. Tellez used, the typical, let's talk about a woman's sexuality to degrade her in public when she was speaking of Mrs. Neros. It was a very nasty post, and I'm not talking against him because of who he is going to support. I'm talking about the fact that he degraded a woman in public, and he was invited to our Hall of Fame.
For clarification, he was not invited. We paid him for his services.
But
That
we need
was-
to consider.
Well, just a second, I can't be screening everybody either, and that's kind of like something that my opinion, shouldn't even be discussed right now. I think that, maybe we can approach each other directly next time, but, that made me feel very uncomfortable right now. And he was brought in to do a job, and he was paid for that, he was a vendor. So, just wanted to let you know.
But that's why I'm bringing it up, okay? Because it would be like us inviting the district attorney, after taking pictures of somebody in the gym. That would make us look bad. But these
But
also
it would be up to your discretion,
Yeah.
you know?
Not
You
as a
think it's-
commission.
You think
Yes.
it's bad?
No,
I don't think it's bad.
I didn't say they were bad.
No,
I-
like inviting them because he took pictures.
Yes, because we are talking about representing women.
We're
And-
changing.
I mean, you're talking about your own personal perception.
No, I'm talking about you thinking in terms of the political point of view.
No,
Look, when we
you're
put
not
out the
doing
video, where we were promoting the Hall of Fame, and we were inviting women to say, hey, do you know someone that motivates you the right way in Laredo? Okay, even Miss Amber came out and said, look, the comments under this video is, ¿por qué siempre las mismas? There is a high distrust of our local government. I can emphasize that. And so unless we start considering that political picture we're painting, we are going to lose credibility.
But that would be a political point that you're making.
No,
For
it's
example,
not just me. I just gave you an example that is
Yeah.
not just me.
Yeah, but an
is
example,
what
let's say,
people
why are
see.
you inviting the district attorney when he took pictures? That's your perception that he did something wrong. but not everybody sees it that way. And if we have a reason to invite a district attorney, we should invite him because of his position and not see what he's done that bothers different each person individually.
I said right after. I did say inviting someone right after they do something.
Yeah, but that's an individual view.
It isn't an individual. We, the women, the Commission of Women are here to protect women. And when a person, forget the fact that he's the district attorney, I've seen it happening in Walmart.
But that's
A
not-
guy
that-
taking a picture with his cell phone of a girl's ass. And I just
Well,
say,
if it depends, but we don't
no,
know
no,
the other
and I
reason.
stop the guy and I
We're not
say, what are you
police.
doing? What are you, what are you doing?
That's your.
But not every woman behaves like a lady.
That has nothing to do with our
And
point of view.
so, I just think that's your own personal view. That's your personal view.
It isn't a personal
I think-
point of view.
I am going to move to adjourn this meeting since there are no committee reports, and this is going on,
I was just gonna thank everybody that contributed to the Hall of Fame in a very
Yes, it was
positive way.
Very nice.
I did get calls. Thank you to the council members and councilwomen that contacted me. They complimented everybody. Amber, you've been amazing to work with. I love you. Thank you so much. Next time bring the baby. And thank you to everybody who was there to help. I really appreciate it. Ethan, Sylvia, you all were amazing. Sylvia left. And Rosie for bringing the speaker, that was your thing, but helping out in the speaker was amazing. But to my committee members, Sylvia and Danita, you all were amazing. Again, thank you to you, Amber, and everybody else that was there. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Okay,
Motion
my
to
motion
adjourn,
is
Rosa
to-
Maria.
Second the motion.
Thanks.
Seconded by Jessica.
Aye.
Esther.
I need.
All in favor?